Keep this frequency clear. Keep this frequency clear.
CJAM. Redefining radio in Windsor, Detroit. We are 99.1 FM.
Keep this frequency clear.
Coming to you live from the MediaPlex in downtown Windsor, this is a presentation of St. Clair College Journalism.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for MediaPlex Live.
On CJAM 99.1, Redefining Radio in Windsor and Detroit. I'm Donna Tuckwell.
I'm Zachary Ballog.
And I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
And you are in for half an hour of news, views, commentary, and maybe a few laughs.
But first, the news.
Last week, Windsor City Council voted to set the 2023 property tax rate. Mackenzie Adams brings us a story.
Windsor City Council voted last week to set the 2023 property tax rate. Council voted 10-1 in favor of the 4.5% increase. The number started at 5.27% on Monday, but Council shaved the number down to 4.5%, roughly adding $140 onto the average homeowner's bill. Windsor landlord Ali El Gonzuri has owned rental properties in Windsor for 4 years.
I would say that Windsor they haven't raised it in a while. And if anything, I think our city needs it as long as they use the money correctly and to good use.
Council has not yet released what their plans are for allocating the money.
Windsor has a lot of potential, especially with everything going on, the bridge, the battery plant, the hospital. There's just so much potential in Windsor. Certain things one thing I'd love to see in city is bringing downtown back to life.
City Council said no to increasing metered parking hours from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., no patio fees, and no to recreation fees. Also, the 418X bus line, which City Council did not support last year, was approved for this year. For MediaPlex News, I'm Mackenzie Adams.
Are you someone who knows everything about every movie, or are you just looking for a night out? Then boy, do I have the event for you. Check out Movie Trivia Night Thursday, April 20th at 664 Victoria Avenue. Come down for food, trivia, and enter for your chance to win many raffle prizes. Tickets are $15 per person, $20 at the door, and $40 for a team of 4. All funds go to benefit the film camp for kids and youth. Again, that is this Thursday, April 20th, 6 to 8:30 p.m.
So how do people play in teams of 4? What is it, a Jeopardy thing? Is it how's the trivia work?
So kind of pretty much we'll have people up there, Mac Flash, who is going to actually be doing the trivia, just, shout out some questions and then, discuss as a group and then basically get to then shout out your answer.
Nice. And I think it's a great cause, the film camp for kids.
It is. It's, helping underprivileged kids is, really why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, Zach, it's been pretty nice this week. What's the weather have in store for us?
Well, welcome to summer, or as I call it, Fool's Summer. We have a warm weekend ahead of us, so let's take a look at your 3-day forecast. Saturday, a chance of showers and a high of 27. Sunday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms and a high of 20. Monday, a high of 7 and a chance for showers. That's the weather, so be sure to join me for Pothole Termination and Oh Canada on Weird News coming up at the bottom of the show.
You're listening to MediaPlex Live
on CJAM 99.1, Redefining Radio in Windsor, Detroit.
On today's show, we help fight some crime.
We check in with Easter seals.
We re-energize with the green elephant.
And I cap it off with the weirdest news found on the internet.
All this and more on MediaPlex Live
on CJAM 99.1 FM, the jammin' one.
Let's hear from Constable Sarah Werstein on the latest Crime Stoppers update.
With the warmer weather, police are once again starting to see a rise in thefts from vehicles. We would like to take this opportunity to warn residents to lock it or lose it and give a few tips to help avoid being a victim of crime. Lock your car doors and roll up your windows. Do not leave your car running unattended. Never leave money or valuables in plain sight. If you have a garage, use it or park in a well-lit area. Remove your garage door openers. Additionally, if you see any suspicious activity in your neighborhood, please call the police immediately. If you have any information regarding this sort of activity and you wish to remain anonymous, you can always contact Crime Stoppers at 519-258-TIPS or submit a tip online at catchcrooks.com. I'm Police Coordinator Sarah Werstein.
You can never keep your belongings too safe. This includes your home and property. Tyler Clapp tells us how we can increase our home security.
While weather temperatures are getting higher, so are the chances of having would-be thieves break into homes. According to Statistics Canada, July 2020 alone had one of the highest amounts of residential break-ins that year, with 3,948 selected incidents. As for how residents can keep their homes safe in between barbecues and pool parties, Constable Adam Young from Windsor Police said keeping homes safe requires awareness and communication.
Know who's in your neighborhood. And when you see somebody suspicious in your neighborhood, don't be afraid not to ask somebody, who is that person? Are they supposed to be here? A lot of times people just keep to themselves and they ignore strange behavior in the neighborhood.
In short, it helps to keep an eye out in between firing up the grill and having fun this summer. You may keep your home safe in the process. I'm Tyler Clapp for MediaPlex News.
The Easter Seals program has been helping children for over 100 years. Cam Segan has more for us.
The Easter Seals Telethon is returning to a television screen near you. Easter Seals is an organization that helps kids with physical disabilities succeed through equipment funding, fully accessible camps, and leadership opportunities. Sam Uprichard has a child with spina bifida, and Easter Seals has provided their family with the assistance they need. As the Windsor-Essex Telethon fast approaches, Uprichard says that Easter Seals is so important to families all across Canada.
Easter Seals has helped the family in a lot of ways of home remodeling and conversions of vehicle, and just make life a more easy access to family things.
Tune in to the Easter Seals Telethon on Sunday, April 23rd at 3 p.m. on CTV2 and help kids be kids. From MediaPlex News, I'm Cam Segan.
If you want to travel in Canada, Tyler Clapp tells us how we can explore more.
As we make our way into the spring and eventual summer, many of you at home may be making vacation plans. While the usual suspects of sunny tropical destinations or bustling cities could be on the lists of many, those looking to get away from it all without breaking the bank have plenty of options here in Canada. For one, the province of Ontario's travel spots aren't limited to just Toronto. There are numerous parks located throughout, like Nays Provincial Park and Tobermory, home to the Grotto, a place for visitors to hike and check out. Those looking to go west don't have to worry about only having Vancouver or Calgary to visit. Those wanting to visit Alberta can check out Peyto Lake. It has the same mountainous ranges and clear water the rest of the province is known for. Or you can also check out Port Renfrew in British Columbia, which has some of the tallest trees in the province and is right near the Pacific Ocean. Both of these spots enable travelers to experience the best of their provinces without the cost or the crowds. Heading east, the Maritimes has Peggy's Cove, a 50-minute drive out of Halifax complete with views of the Atlantic and numerous shops and restaurants to explore. There's also Shediac, the lobster capital of the world between New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. In conclusion, there are plenty of options for travelers looking to stay right in Canada that are quieter, less busy, but just as fun as any of the country's capitals. Thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.
The sports guys are in the house, so I guess that means we're talking sport. Bring it on, guys.
Welcome to the Sports Guys. I'm Cam Segan.
And I'm Jesse LaRouche. Can the Blue Jays stop the Rays from making history?
The Rays are looking to become the first team in the modern era to win 14 games in a row to kick off the year.
The team has a wild plus 71 run differential in their first 13 games, which is the best in history.
Honestly, I'd be more impressed if those wins didn't come against the Tigers, A's, Nats, and Red Sox, who all hover around the bottom of the league.
I agree. I got a feeling the Jays bring them back down to earth today.
In other Toronto sports news, DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry will be playing for a playoff spot tonight.
But not with each other or for the Raptors.
That's right. DeMar and the Bulls pulled off a 19-point comeback against the Raptors for the chance to battle for a playoff spot.
They'll be playing Miami and another Toronto legend, Kyle Lowry, who put up 33 points in a losing effort against the Hawks in their first playoff game.
After that game, the Timberwolves will host the OKC Thunder.
The Timberwolves have had an eventful week, ranging from punching teammates, punching walls, to losing to the Lakers in overtime.
Now they'll have to take on the young core of the Thunder, who are coming off an upset win over the Pelicans.
The average age of players on that team is 23. That paired up with 15 first-round picks over the next 4 years, I'd say the future's looking pretty bright.
No doubt, and a playoff berth this early would do wonders for their confidence. We'll see how it plays out tonight.
Shifting to hockey now, the NHL playoffs begin Monday, Cam.
And the Eastern Conference matchups are set. The two series that stick out to me are the Devils versus the Rangers and Leafs versus Lightning.
The Leafs look to finally get out of the first round in a rematch from last year's playoffs.
Both teams have had a lot of time to prepare, as this matchup has seemingly been locked in since American Thanksgiving. Care to make a prediction?
That's tough to say. I just hope everyone has fun.
Okay, Dad. I actually think this might be the year the Leafs slay their demons and don't play like a junior hockey team.
Cam, it seems like you're still stuck up on that Spitfires loss.
Let's not get into that right now. My thoughts on that series could fill the next 3 of our shows. That's all from the sports guys. I'm Cam Segan.
And I'm Jesse LaRouche. See you next week.
Caitlin Francis is a Canadian independent artist, and our own Haley Goebel spoke with her this week.
Caitlin Francis is an independent artist living in Windsor. She shares what success means to her as a self-employed singer and songwriter. So, Caitlin, what would you consider to be a key to success?
To be successful as an artist is being able to make a song start to finish and being able to publish it and share it with people that you love. The idea that you get to make music for a living is success in itself, and the idea that I get to be creative every day. Also, like, my success was getting a song on the radio. That was crazy because that's really hard to do as an independent artist.
For MediaPlex News, I'm Haley Goebel. And now, here's Caitlin's song Love and Light featuring Giuliano Solis, out now on YouTube.
Chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, focused on myself, babe. I heard what you said, all I have to say is I hope you change someday. Sending love and light, I swear I don't mind. It's no waste of my time, don't wanna rewind. Sending love and light, I swear I don't mind. Of my time, I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe. I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe. It's hard to be up when you're feeling down. I try to lift my feet off of the ground. Why sleep when you're awake? Why dream the day away? I'd rather be delusional, babe. Sending love and light, I swear I don't mind. It's no waste of my time, don't wanna rewind. Sending love and light, I swear I don't mind. It's not a waste of my time. I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe. I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe.
Stay loving 100, that's what continues coming. Pain had my heart straight numbing. Hate what I was becoming. Felt like I was sliding down a landslide. Push away my loved ones to the side. Pride's not worth the divide. Yeah. Yeah, truth be told, there's way too many hurt people in this world. Yeah, we act like lots of product to be sold. Why do now it feels like gold? I'm embracing, loving like no replacing. No more work, no more chasing. Open arms, heart is blazing, amazing.
I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe. I don't chase, I attract, change of plans, I adapt. Don't got time to hate, I'm loving my babe.
Let's listen as Rawad Kansoon brings us another episode of The Green Elephant.
I am Rawad Kansoon, and we dive into the world of the human soul. Enjoy the energy of the green elephant. Me, myself, and I. Being yourself is one of the most important things you can do in your life. It can be difficult to do, especially when you are in unfamiliar situation or around people who don't accept you for who you are. But being true to yourself is essential for your well-being and your happiness. One of the biggest reasons why people struggle with being themselves is that they are afraid of rejection. They worry that if they show their true selves, they will be rejected. But the truth is that not everyone will like you, no matter how hard you try to be someone else. And that's okay. It's better to be authentic and attract people who accept you for who you are, rather than trying to please everyone and feeling miserable. Another reason why people struggle with being themselves is that they don't know who they are. They may have spent their lives trying to fit in with others or living up to someone else's expectation, or to copy social media figures, and they have lost touch with their own desires, values, and goals. If you feel like this, it's important to take some time to get to know yourself. This might involve exploring your interests, values, and passions, or seeking out therapy or counseling to help you understand your own thoughts and feelings. The psychologist and the expert in social media, Dr. Samir Romaithi, explain.
Like, you can ask someone that, hey, what are you trying to do nowadays? And they're like, oh, I want to be like this influencer. I want to travel the world. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to own this car. I want to have this mansion. And that's not a reality that everyone can do. If everyone was a billionaire, that's what TikTok or social media in general is doing, because it's given this image that doesn't really exist, but it's just a fake image that is made for people. And people follow that, and people fall for that. And that's a huge problem, specifically for the youngest generation. You should pursue your own dreams. You know, you should think of your own goals. If you want to become something other than an influencer, then you shouldn't always watching these stuff. Go become a doctor, a lawyer, a successful judge. Do what you want to do.
When you are comfortable being yourself, you will naturally attract people who accept and appreciate you for who you are. You will also be more confident and authentic in your relationships, which can lead to deeper connections and more fulfilling friendships and romantic relationships. However, being yourself doesn't mean you should be careless with your actions and words. It's important to be aware of how your behavior affects others and to treat people with kindness and respect. But you don't have to compromise your own values or beliefs to please others. You can be respectful and still be true to yourself. In conclusion, being yourself is one of the most important things you can do in your life. It may take some time and effort to get there, but the benefits are well worth it. You will feel more confident and authentic, attract people who accept and appreciate you for who you are, and live more fulfilling life. So embrace your true self and be proud of who you are. Thanks for listening to The Green Elephant with your host Rawad Kansoon. I hope you enjoyed your daily dose of energy.
I will be unapologetic for being myself before the show airs.
Let's hop way back into the Wayback Machine. Elliot is here with some history. What do you got, Elliot?
This week in history, we start with a famous magic trick. On April 8th, 1983, David Copperfield made the Statue of Liberty disappear in front of 20 people. At the time, everyone was completely fooled by his trick, and not a single person was able to figure out how he did it. Years later, it was revealed that he was able to do this by putting a series of mirrors to reflect the sky behind the people. Now we're headed to the Mediterranean for a certain famous emperor. On April 11th, 1814, Napoleon Bonaparte was exiled to the island of Elba in the middle of the Mediterranean. He thought the terms of his exile were broken, so he ended up just leaving the island. He was later exiled again. This time he didn't escape the island, though. To finish off this week, we go to April 14th, 1864. On that day, Abraham Lincoln was shot while at the Ford's Theater in Washington. This would go down as one of the most famous assassinations in history. Thanks for looking back. I'm Elliot St. Aubin.
Obviously, Zach has too much free time, so we assigned him to do all the views and reviews. What have you been binging on this time, Zach?
that time of the show where I give my take on all forms of entertainment, new and old. Time for Zach's views and reviews. Oh, Taylor, look what you made me do. You got me talking about the Eras Tour. That's right, Swift embarked on her smash hit tour that has so far been a massive success. This tour is a tad bit different than her previous shows because it encompasses all of her previous eras. If you were lucky enough to survive the Great War, and that is buying tickets, you are in for one heck of a show. I have been following this since she started, and I have some thoughts. First, the set list. This list contains 44 of Swift's previous songs, and the show's length is about 3 hours and 15 minutes. One of the parts that I'm not a fan of is the snubbing of her debut album, and there only being one song from Speak Now. The one positive is that there's a section for surprise songs, one on a piano and one with a guitar. I have made it my plea for Getaway Car because she is going to be in the Motor City at Ford Field. The production of the show is amazing as Swift has gone to a whole new level when it comes to all the different aspects of lighting, sound, backdrop, and the stage. Fun fact, she dives into the stage following the conclusion of one of her eras. So with all that said, if you were a Swiftie lucky enough to snag tickets for her shows on June 9th or 10th, are you ready for it? That's it for this edition of Views and Reviews. If you have anything you think I should review, send me a message on Twitter at BigManBalog25.
Mac is back, and she's still wacky, but thankfully not as weird as Zach. Mackenzie?
Hello and welcome to Mac's Wacky Facts. Join me and relax as I unleash the strange thoughts most people keep to themselves. Do you guys like to watch movies or TV shows more? I'm a TV person. I like to have shows playing in the background that I don't really have to pay attention to. I'm kind of embarrassed to admit that I maybe watch one movie a month, like if that. My guilty pleasure is reality TV. Like I watch 5 different franchises of The Real Housewives and I have no shame about it. They have mega issues and it makes me feel so much better about myself. I have accepted that my taste for shows and movies suck, but one movie series I will always love is Pirates of the Caribbean. I was missing my mom this weekend, and we used to watch those movies all the time together, so I was just watching them on and off. I tried to think of what I would do if I was captured by a gang of pirates. And then that kind of sent me into a pirate research black hole, which brings me to my story for today. In the 1st century of BCE, the Mediterranean Sea had a major crime problem, specifically pirates. They were terrorizing the Romans as they filled the sea, stealing and looting from other ships. Julius Caesar, like the Julius Caesar, was kidnapped by pirates when he was 25 years old. He was on his way to Rhodes to study oratory, which is the art of public speaking, which is really weird to think that someone from thousands and thousands of years ago was practicing presentation skills. Like I had a class on that last year. Anyways, from the moment he was captured, he refused to act like a captive. The pirates had set his ransom at 20 talents. Now, this is Julius Caesar. He's a huge military man. He gets hot and steamy with Cleopatra, like he's very established. He laughed at them and told them to ask for 50 talents instead. I'm sure this is the first time pirates have had a hostage up the ransom amount. While his men went to gather the money, Julius made himself at home. He bossed the pirates around, telling them what to do, shushing them when he wanted to sleep. Now remember, he was on his way to practice public speaking, so he took this time to practice his speeches and poems in front of the pirates. If they didn't understand what he was saying, he would call them illiterate and stupid. Julius would act like the leader of the boat, and all the pirates were his subordinates. He would threaten to have them all crucified one day, but the pirates didn't know who he was, so they just thought he was some overconfident nutter. After 38 days, ransom was finally delivered, and Caesar went free. As he promised, Julius gathered a military team, hunted down the pirates, and sure enough, they were still on the island where he was held captive. After bringing back the pirates, the governor of Asia was unsure on whether to punish them or not. Julius, being the overconfident nutter he is, walked into the prison and executed every single last pirate. Okay, a couple things. It's too bad the pirates couldn't do a quick Google search or Instagram search because capturing Julius Caesar is kind of a big deal. I would have kept him for a little bit longer. I don't know. And they must have felt so dumb when Julius raised his own ransom. That's kind of embarrassing. Also, why did the pirates let him boss them around? Like, there's one of him and probably dozens of pirates. Like, they could just duct tape his mouth, tie him to a pole. I don't know, maybe I could be a pirate. It's time for WTF, What the Fact, where I will name off as many wacky facts as I can in 30 seconds.
3, 2, 1.
Pirates wore earrings to ward off seasickness. Maps were just as precious as gold or silver to pirates. Pirate ships often had bands or theater. Pirates really did keep parrots as pets. Pirates slept on hammocks. Pirates would leave annoying shipmates on abandoned islands to starve and die. One of the most powerful pirates in history was a woman who commanded 300 ships. Today, pirates are mostly in Somalia, Indonesia, and Nigeria. Pirates had their own, and that is 30 seconds. Okay, let's see how many I got. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and like a half. The last one was pirates had their own unique and terrifying flags. Also, take a shot for how many times I said pirate. Okay, so to come to the end of my podcast, I'm going to give you guys a life hack. So I used to go camping a lot with my parents when I was younger. We had a trailer and would spend almost like half the summer going to different campgrounds. I haven't been in a long time, but my boyfriend is really into backcountry camping, like hiking, all the outdoor things. I went backcountry camping with him once last summer for one night. Our site was an hour hike in, and then we had to start to set up camp. But when you're backcountry hiking or camping, you can't carry in firewood. Like, I mean, you could, but I was more worried about my sleeping bag and bottles of wine. So we had to walk around finding branches and chunks of wood to burn in our fire pit. Apparently, all we need for our trip this summer is a bag of Doritos. According to camping aficionados, they are a better fire starter than kindling. We are planning a trip to Pukasqua this summer, so I'm going to bring a bag of Doritos with me and test this because it's going to save us so much time. I just wonder, like, Cool Ranch, or I think that's honestly the only bag of Doritos I know because they're the only ones I like. I can't think of any of the other names. So I guess maybe I'll bring a bag I don't like. Okay, anyways, thank you guys so much for getting weird with me on Max Wacky Facts, and I will see you next week.
You want the flaming Doritos.
Yeah. I love her wacky facts, and when I need to feel better about my house, I watch Hoarders. And now, last but not least, it's time for the weirdest news found on the internet. Here's Zach Ballock.
It's Friday, and that means it's time for the weirdest news found on the internet. That's right, it's time for Weird News. If you are fed up with something, do it yourself, especially if you are the Terminator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was seen out and about recently terminating a pothole. The actor and former California governor tweeted a video Tuesday of him and a helper using packaged concrete to repair the road in the Brentwood area. One of the motorists even drove by and thanked him, in which he replied, "You're welcome." That's right, the pothole will not be back.
In Brentwood, wouldn't you think they pay enough to get their roads fixed?
You don't.
Just saying.
I mean, you'd also think that the former governor of California wouldn't have to fix his own pothole.
Right.
Time to travel to the Great White North for the wildest stories out of Canada that will make you think, oh, Canada. RCMP are reminding Nova Scotians to lock their doors after investigating a report of suspicious activity in Upper Tantalon, Nova Scotia, involving a conspicuously clean home. Why? RCMP say just before 3 p.m., officers responded to a complaint that there were 2 suspicious women in a home. The homeowner, who was not home at the time, said she was contacted by a concerned neighbor after the 2 women were observed in the home with a vacuum cleaner and a mop. Since the home was clean, I think it's safe to say they made a clean getaway. That's the weirdness for this week. Time for This Week in Dad Jokes. Where do polar bears keep their money? In a snowbank. I'm Zachary Balog, and you cannot make this stuff up.
I bet you those ladies just watched an episode of Hoarders. Thank you, Zach, and thank you for tuning in.
You've been listening to MediaPlex Live
on CJAM 99.1, redefining radio in Windsor and Detroit.
On today's show, we've had contributions from
Mackenzie Adams,
Sarah Werstein,
our sports guys, Cam Sequin and Jesse LaRoche,
Tyler Clapp,
Rawad Kansoon,
Elliot St. Aubin,
Haley Goebel. No, I am Zach. I'm Donna Tuckwell. He's Zach Balog. See you next week, CJammers.
That was easy.
No, it wasn't.
It really wasn't.